Everybody is in such a festive mood today. I wonder why. I wonder because it's the holidays. Okay, so we begin our service by sitting in the silence together for 2 minutes. Please turn off your mobile devices. Of course, check in on Facebook first. And then for the remainder of the service, leave them off. And then join us in a chant.
Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me.
And staying in that sacred space of silence, know with me that there is only one God, one source, one beloved spirit, of which we are all part of. We are all each unique, individualized expressions of the one. Just like the many sounds in the silence, we each contribute to the spirit of the season. I know for each of us that this holiday season we're going through is perfect, whole, complete. And everyone is where they need to be. The message is what they need to hear, delivered either in the sermon by David or the music by Michelle, or just in how you greet a neighbor. I'm so grateful to be part of this community, part of this expression. And I release my word out into the lawn, knowing it is done, and cement it with, and so it is. So please join me in reading this month's affirmation. Should be up on the screen. Today, I bestow the essence of love upon everything. Everyone I meet shall be lovely to me. My soul meets the soul of the universe in everyone. This love is a healing power touching everything into wholeness.
go. Used to think that I had to. Used to think that I should. Scripture told me that I had to be good. But now I love because I want to. I love because I'm free. Blinded by the Spirit. Oh, San Jose.
Spirit of God is upon me.
Come on, oh, come on. Spirit of God is
upon me.
Say, oh, yeah.
Spirit of God is upon me.
I don't believe you.
Oh,
I believe you.
Spirit of
Oh,
God
that's
is upon
right.
me.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Come on, church.
Spirit of God is upon me.
Here we go. Oh, I don't need any prodding. I don't need any law. I want to sing with all my heart. God is my all in all. Cause loving God is a wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. Blinded by the Spirit. Oh, church, help me say.
Spirit of God is upon
Come
me.
on, come on.
Oh,
You got to get your groove
Spirit of
on.
God is upon
Let
me.
me see how you
Oh.
pray. Yeah, yeah.
Spirit of God is upon
It's
me.
not gonna look like
Oh.
mine. No, no, no.
Spirit of God is upon
Come on,
me.
say.
Oh,
Here we go.
Spirit of God is upon me.
Let me hear you say, oh. I thought it was my duty. I thought it was my job. Somewhere I believe loving God would be hard. But loving God is ecstasy. Loving God is wonderful. I let go of my burdens. Oh, Lord, sing.
Spirit of God is upon
Drop out,
me.
Jay, drop out.
Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me.
Church.
Oh,
That's right.
the Spirit of God is upon me.
Say it again.
Oh,
Spirit of
God is upon
keep it
me.
going, keep it going.
Oh,
Come on, come on.
Spirit of God is
Yeah,
upon me.
yeah. It's upon me.
Spirit of God is upon
It's
me.
upon you.
Oh,
Right here in the
Spirit of
room.
God is upon
Hey,
me.
yeah. Oh, here we go.
The Spirit of God is upon me.
Amen.
Excellent, excellent. Test, test, test. Excellent, excellent. Test, test, test. Hi. Good morning. I'm Cece Bauer, and I'm doing the inspiration talk for today. And in the naked light I saw enter classmates through the door. People talking about their fears. People willing to show their tears. People sharing what they could not do alone. See us as their home. We appreciate our month of silence. Okay. Thank you. That was my husband and my contribution to our final project in our foundational course that we took this year. If you get an opportunity to take that course, do it. It's fantastic. And then I sent this to David via text, and Reverend Susan was walking by and said, "That's part of her 5-minute inspirational talk." And I got a call. Okay. I'm a person that loves a value-driven life. I believe that by setting goals and achieving them, I add value to my life and to those around me. Some of my highlights for 2013 were celebrated my 54th birthday. That took 54 years. I celebrated 10 years of teaching Pirelli Natural Horsemanship. That took 10 years.
I achieved my level 4 graduation in the natural horsemanship, which is the highest possible level of self-study. That took 14 years. And then I celebrated 20 years of being married to the man I love. That took 20 years. So how did I do this? Even with all the obstacles that life has presented me with, changing of the rules, timelines that present pressure, policies, even a rug or two pulled out from under me. For about 14 years, I have kept these 7 keys to success close at hand and at heart, kind of tattooed on the back of my eyelids. Number 1 is attitude, a positive, progressive, and natural attitude. I don't like to be stuck in the mud. Number 2 is knowledge. I seek never-ending self-improvement. I'm hooked. Tools. Going to this church every Sunday is a tool that I use. Techniques. Practice doesn't make perfect. It makes permanent. And I pay attention to my techniques. And if I feel like there's something that I could be doing better or that I could use that I want in my life, I go to somebody who is doing it well, and I learn from them. Next is time. I take the time that it takes to learn what it is that's right for me to do. Imagination. I love to create. I love to image, and my imaging keeps me in contact with God. And number 7, support. My church, all of you, David, Lloyd Tupper, Dr. Scott, my company, Pirelli Natural Horsemanship, my animals, Magic, Chex, and my kitty Summer, my longtime students, Barbara, Lois, Olivia, Diana, and my champion, my rock, my best friend, and greatest love, Tom Bauer. Thank you all for being you.
Good morning. There's a lot of notes here, and they're not mine. Hi. Hey, for those of you who don't know me, I'm David Bruner. I'm very fortunate to be the senior minister and the spiritual director here at the center. It's a beautiful life. I'm very blessed. I'm missing Susan because she normally tells me if my name tag is crooked. Reverend Susan is speaking at the Santa Cruz Center today. Santa Cruz is currently without minister, and so they are filling their pulpit with guests, and we've been helping them out a lot since we're their nearest major center. So Reverend Susan, she's rocking them. She's making them salivate with what the possibility. So back to see what happens when I don't have notes. It's going to be a very interesting day. I have notes up here. So early on in my spiritual exploration, one of my teachers answered a question that I didn't even know that I had. And the question was, how did Jesus get to be so good at what he did? Like, what was it that he knew that maybe I don't know? What is it that he has that I seem to not have? And what I heard from that teacher was that Jesus had no credentials other than his own consciousness. No credentials. He didn't have a master's of spirituality. He didn't have coaching and teachers like many of us have. He just had consciousness. And what I have learned about consciousness is that consciousness is the creator. Long time ago, I heard a teacher say that God does not create. And I thought, I better step in and protect God because this guy's a little wacko. God does not create. And then he went on to say, God does not create because God is life. God is everything. And anything that's even possible already exists in that mind that is God. So God doesn't need to create because it already exists. But what creates in my life is consciousness. Consciousness creates. Consciousness is what develops relationships and prosperity and financial freedom and workability and peacefulness and hopefulness, healing our minds and our bodies and our future. Consciousness. And ask any addict, they'll tell you how to create consciousness. by doing something over and over and over and over and over and over and over till you no longer have to think about it, practice it, or even put it into motion because it's just who you are. So what we're up to this year and what we've been up to is living the science of mind. Practice makes permanent. And the reason why we're practicing is not to finally figure out the magic that's going to get God to give us what God's been withholding. No. We practice it, like pray and meditate and serve and sit in silence, and this month experience hospitality. The reason why we do it is so that we might be in the rhythm of the thing for which we're starving. If you and I really knew, if we really knew, if you really, really knew, not just believed, but if you really knew who walks with you, you would never be afraid. So mostly, though, we don't know. We hope. We try to get more knowledge. But with all that knowledge, let's get understanding and acceptance. So, this is my last Sunday of the year here, because next Sunday I will be taking a vacation day. Next Sunday, Reverend Tony Cormier and Reverend Valerie Reeves are going to, they're going to partner and tag team on the stage for you, and it's really going to be a Sunday not to be missed. Being that it's my last Sunday of the year, today I'm closing out our annual theme. I'll let Reverend Valerie and Reverend Tony next week close it out officially. But for me, this theme ends today. My next time on the stage will be Tuesday night, Christmas Eve. We have the Christmas Eve candlelighting, and that's at 7 o'clock, and everyone's invited. Gotta let you know, this is when we have all the guests. We will see people here on Tuesday night that we have not seen since Easter. So make them welcome. I'm asking you to make them welcome. We won't see them again till next Easter. It's okay. They're guests. We're not even going to pretend. We're not going to proselytize. We're not going to try to get them to stay because we know what they're up to. They want to show up on Christmas Eve and they want to show up on Easter, and that's sufficient. And they might be in your favorite seat. You will be tested. Because this is a church where everybody's welcome. That's my seat. It's been glorious practicing spiritual practice with you this year. Next year, our annual theme is Sowing Seeds of Greatness, a New Design for Living. And we will be using a book for the whole year called A New Design for Living by Ernest Holmes. And each of our weekly topics, the topic titles, are taken directly from the book. So by the end of the year, we will have gone through one book together, and it's going to be glorious and extraordinary. But today, I could summarize the entire year in 3 simple perspectives. Why we want to practice our spiritual practice so that practice makes permanent. Those 3 key areas that have emerged for me are receptivity, reverence, and generosity. Receptivity, reverence, and generosity creates a life unparalleled, a life that is workable and holy and happy and crazy and chaotic and sad and deep and shallow and all of the in-betweens. But those 3 areas are what I will carry with me in my spiritual pocket into 2014. I will leave this year behind, but I will take with me those 3 key areas: receptivity, reverence, and generosity. Now, I want to tell you about receptivity because it's very clear in my life. I have a mobile phone. Maybe you have one too. I have a mobile phone that I use a lot. In fact, I think that some of my brain cells have been transferred here because I no longer store very much here anymore. Well, I never really did, but I like to pretend that I did. So I no longer pretend that I have access to something I've never stored or used here. Instead, it exists here in this mobile device. And what I've learned about this particular building at Clark Street is that there are some areas in which there is not good signal. So if I need to make a telephone call, you guys remember telephone calls? They're rare, but when I have to make a telephone call, I know that there are areas in this building in which I should not be, because in that particular area, there will be no signal. So when I have the intention of making a phone call, there are areas to which I will go because there is good receptivity. But I wonder if I actually do this with my spiritual practice. I know where there are areas in my life where there is really poor spiritual reception. And yet, when I really want to be in the presence of the thing itself, do I leave the poor receptive areas? No, I usually hang out in that area where there's no service whatsoever, and I'm just complaining, bitching, moaning, and griping. You too? Yeah. I listen to XM Sirius Radio. I spend a lot of time in my car. It's a magnificent opportunity to listen to audiobooks and to catch up on what's going on in the world at large. And every once in a while, I stumble on an audiobook that I don't have, but there's like a reading of it on satellite radio. And when a particularly good thing is occurring in the storyline, if it's time for me to pull into my garage, I will actually stop outside the garage. I live in a high-rise condominium complex, under which is the parking. So when I pull into the garage, I lose satellite reception. So if I want to keep what's on the stereo on, I need to stay where I am. I need to stay put. But do I do that with my spirituality? If I want to keep what's going on, stay put in the mental stage. Stay put in that place. Or do I continue to go into the underground where there is no reception or little reception, and then I just think about someday there'll be reception. Someday I'll have an experience of God. Someday I'm going to lose that 30 pounds. Someday I'm going to stop beating up my spouse. Someday I'm going to be peaceful. But not today, because it isn't meant to be. The beauty of the science of mind and spirit is, that you are where you are going. Wow, the first time I heard that, I thought, I want a better church. No. Because if this is where I'm going, I want a refund, I want a do-over, I want to trade this in for a life that works. But seriously, where do you and I really want to be? We want to be in the presence of possibility. We want to be in the presence of a thing that loves us without condition. We want to be in the presence of a presence that wouldn't change one thing, not even one little thing about us, not even that thing. We want to be in the presence of physical wholeness and vibrancy and financial freedom and love, expression. We want to be in the presence of a life of workability. Well, we're already there, but we just don't know it. And so I've signed up for a life of finding new ways to say the same thing every week, over and over, because there's really only one thing to say. But we haven't yet heard. You are where you are going. This is your life. This is your life. And it's time to start living it. To live it, not endure it. To live it, not tolerate it. Live it. So we have lots of tools that can help with that. Receptivity is the first thing that I'm carrying with me into 2014. I want to be receptive to new ways of getting it. So another thing, like Ray and Diane, I haven't seen you in a while. One of the conversations we've been having here at the center and also on live streaming is there's a very big difference and a distinction between understanding a joke and getting a joke. Do you guys know what I mean? It's not the same. Like, oh, I understand. No, I get it. But I want to be that way with God too. I want to get it. Like, just get it. Because, friends, you know, this stuff's going to happen. Life is a series of peaks and valleys. That's what happens. Relationships have seasons and cycles, just like the natural seasons. And so there will be cold times. There will be dark times. There will be sick times. There will be sad times. But when we remember that we are where we are going, we can endure those with grace and possibility, and we will have, hopefully, a bit of maturation that will help us with the next cycle. So receptivity is what I take with me. The next section that I take with me, the next little gift box, the little trinket from 2013 that I carry, is reverence. And reverence is something that has really become powerful to me, especially this time of year, because I found that, I don't know how or why, I don't even care to know anymore, I don't want to dig any deeper to find out, because it doesn't matter, why I have a little bit of cynicism around the holidays. And I know I'm not the only one, because I can smell it in this room. About whether or not Jesus was really born on the 25th. And the 25th is really linked to solstice, and it's linked to the natural cycles of light and such, and then native customs and lighting, bringing in trees and other traditions. And so there's a part of me when I hear people say, remember, Jesus is the reason for the season, I want to pounce on them, and I want to educate them from their stupidity. But I never say this to anybody, so keep that to yourself. So I have this little bit of cynicism that occurs. I'm sorry. We had one Christian in the room. He's oblivious. That's me in the world. Like, everybody's looking at me. I'm just walking around like nobody notices, you know? I know. People on the freeway, when you're picking your nose, people see. That would have been in my notes if I had notes. Reverence. But how much holy time have I missed because of my cynicism? Who cares why? Who cares? Wow, that was an octave I haven't seen in a while. Wow. I heard middle age was a lot like puberty, but I had no idea. Who cares why it is that people make cookies and brownies and fudge and little lemon cupcakes and bring you gifts and sing carols and dress up trees? Who cares why? It's awesome. But I'll miss it if I'm cynical. So reverence, have reverence, whether people are celebrating the end of Hanukkah or the beginnings of Christmas or Kwanzaa or solstice. I mean, every one of them is magical, and that's the beauty of our faith tradition, is we're inclusive. Some faiths draw a circle to draw them out, but ours draws a circle to bring them in. So reverence, but reverence occurs when one has the distinction between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom are not the same. With all thy getting, get understanding, is what the Christian scriptures say. But knowledge is knowing that tomato is a tomato is a fruit. That's knowledge. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Did you get that? So knowledge is helpful to a certain point. Wisdom is useful in our life experience. The distinction between knowledge and wisdom. Well, what is wisdom, we might say? Well, wisdom occurs not because you took a class. Wisdom occurs because you were an idiot. Wisdom occurs because you made mistakes, because you hurt people's feelings, because you made some bad financial investments, because you were unsafe with your body. And then you had an awareness, and the awareness causes you to realize the beauty that is life. And now you're wise. But wisdom generally emerges from a life of non-workability. So if you want to know about wisdom, and you, like, let's say you want to have esteem. I want to have esteem. Knowledge will tell you it's possible. Knowledge will tell you others have done it too. Knowledge will tell you that you might be able to see a therapist or a program or a minister or a practitioner or sponsor to help you with that. But wisdom will tell you, if you want good self-esteem, do self-esteeming acts. Knowledge and wisdom are not the same. You have knowledge on how to lose 30 pounds. You have knowledge on how to be a loving wife or husband. You have knowledge on how to tickle the thing itself. But wisdom moves you into action. So reverence, to me that's reverence. To be moved into action, that's reverence. Like, if I see trash in my path, it's my job to pick it up. Here in the U.S. In Mexico, in India, and in Egypt, they actually pay folks to do it. So it's my job not to pick it up, to not take the work that belongs to someone else. Have the distinction of where you are in the cultures and the social norms. Yeah. Receptivity or reception, reverence, generosity. I want to move into generosity. So yesterday, we went to a hair salon. I went to a hair salon, not because I need it. I know I need it. I got it. I heard you. I went to a hair salon with Mauricio because Mao's on an experiment. He really wants to look like a Mexican soap opera star. He hasn't actually said that. He hasn't said it, but I've seen it. And so as his hair gets bigger and bigger, it gets taller and taller, like it's going to trip birds. You know, it's like a lightning rod. And and every time he cuts it, it just starts curling more. And some of you are hairdressers. You're like, yeah, I know. I told you to see me, and I would fix this. And well, yeah, I know, but we don't listen. So we were at a salon yesterday, and the woman was doing like a reverse perm and flattening his hair. Wow. God, why am I telling you this? Well, because he's not here, that's why. I was looking at him thinking, wow, is this going to be like, remember, are people going to say, I want a Mao? You know, like they did, Farrah Fawcett set the stage in the 70s for hair, and then in the 80s was Princess Diana, and then last decade it was Justin Bieber, I want a Bieber, and then now it's Mauricio, probably, but I digress. Oh, yes, David, reverence. I know, I just check in. Generosity. I'm telling you this because beware. There's no way out of this, is there? No. Okay. When you least expect generosity, it will happen. So we were there for Mao to have his hair done, and a woman approached me and said, "Do you have a minute? Do you mind if I do something with the neckline?" And I said, "No," because I was secretly needing it, and I've been waiting to let my hair grow long enough to have you help me out. But so while I was standing there, she put a towel on me and started massaging my shoulders, and then she was using her scissors and just doing a little cleanup, and I turned around, and by the way, this is Saturday before Christmas. You can imagine the salon was packed. And this woman took a moment to took about 20 minutes of her time, and I asked, "How much?" And she said, you have people say that to you? That's generosity. To show up and make an impact and make a difference. I know people who are paid to make a difference, CEOs and politicians who don't. And I know people who are not paid, but who are constantly looking for opportunities to make a contribution to their world. That's what I want to take with me into 2014. So I love them. They make me weepy. Russ Moss is a former police chief of South San Francisco. I met Russ and his wife, Doreen, and 3 other couples on a cruise 3 years ago. We were going through the Panama Canal, and I met these 3 couples. And so the 4 couples, us 4 couples, hang around about once a month. Russ and Doreen moved from South San Francisco to Carmichael, the Sacramento area, a handful of years ago. And Russ and Doreen thought that their retirement would be an opportunity for them to travel or to sleep in or to just go shopping or hang out with their friends. And then they both discovered very quickly that they were not making the contributions that they were used to, and they began to wither. When you stop thriving, if you're not thriving, you may want to ask yourself, am I making a contribution, or am I seeking the world to contribute to me? Because when you're always looking for the world to give you what you think you're missing, that's when thriving begins to cease. So they found a way. I've told you this a couple years ago, that Russ works on the Polar Express in Sacramento. And he does this for free for about 6 weeks every year, where he's there many, many hours every day, taking thousands of people on that 3-mile trip from Sacramento to the North Pole. And they do this on a train. And the train has dancers and singers and a hobo and snow and Santa's on the other end. And they do this several times every night between Thanksgiving and Christmas. This could be a time when they could be on cruises with their friends, or they could just be sleeping in. But Russ and Doreen want to make a contribution. Doreen does the contribution by not going on vacation without her husband, even though she's missing him, because she's standing in support and solidarity of the thing for which he's taking a stand. So you think, well, that's nice, but what difference does that make? It makes a huge difference. So I'm on the Polar Express, and the hobo comes up to me, and the hobo, he's got snow on his, and I have my cookie, and it's permitted because you have to. It's a law. You have to have a cookie. I'm justifying still, and I'm going to make it work. I have my cup of hot cocoa, and I got my cookie, and I'm surrounded by other kids, other 48-year-old kids, and the hobo comes in, and he comes right in my face and says, "Do you believe?" Sure. Do I believe? No, I don't believe, but I want to. And then he hands me a bell. If you know the story, the bell. And the bell has sound. And then I'm thinking, oh no, my eyes are getting wet. No, don't cry. This is just too predictable and manipulated. I'm not gonna do this. But this happens because people are generous with their time and their attention, and they create an environment wherein anything can happen. And that's what I'm challenging you to do in 2014. To be so generous with yourself that you're not just about having your own needs met, but that you're healthy. You manage your earth-based needs, but it's not your priority. Your priority is remembering that you are where you are going. And so that means no matter where you are and no matter what you're dealing with, anything's possible. And that's what I think is meant when they said that Jesus had no credentials other than his own consciousness. Receptivity, reverence, generosity. Let's pray. So let's pretend that the holiday season hasn't begun, but it's just about to. In order for us to have the perfect holiday for which our soul is thirsting, what do we have to leave here in this room? What has to be shed from us or left behind? Like these banners that are behind me, soon they will be moved from the back of this stage area, and they will take a new position around the room somewhere else, because we're about to make way for the new. In you, what must be made new, so that this coming 24th and 25th of December are free from cynicism and regret, but instead filled with hopefulness and reverence? Maybe that's the question you can ask. You can ask yourself and your Creator. While you move into areas of receptivity, you stay away from underground parking garages in spirituality. Places that you know there is no receptivity in your life. Realizing, of course, that everywhere you are, there is spirituality. But instead, going into those areas where there is a strong signal. Maybe it's a place like this. Live streaming Christmas Eve here. Reading a spiritual book. Taking care of a neighbor who's in need. Whatever it does that triggers and tickles you into remembrance that who you walk with is the only power. And that is sufficient for a life of wisdom. I say enough already. Let's get on with it. Because I understand that today, St. Nicholas is going to make an appearance here. And so I have to be done, so he has the stage. And so I'm grateful. The best holiday season we have ever had hasn't happened yet. And so it is. I invite you to say the giving affirmation with me. If you're here for the first time, welcome. When the basket passes in front of you, give if you feel called, but know that as our guests, we have no expectation whatsoever. Ushers, you're coming forward. Yes, thank you. My life is filled with many wonderful people who bring me gifts of joy and happiness. I spread the blessings of the season, for I am a shining star to all who see me, a beacon of hope and peace and prosperity in our world today and the year ahead.
People making lists, buying special gifts. It's the time to be kind to one and all. It's that time of year when good friends are dear, and you wish you could give more than just presents from a store. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Oh, even the man who has everything would be so happy if you would bring him love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love, love, love. Oh, people you don't know, smile and nod hello. Everywhere there's an air of Christmas joy. It's that time of year when the world's sincere, and you wish you'd find a way to show the things that words can't say. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Oh, even the child on Santa's knee has room for some love underneath its tree. Give love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love. What the world needs is love. Yes, the world needs your love. Give love on Christmas Day. Oh, and the child on Santa's knee has room for some love underneath his tree. Say, no greater gift is there than love. What the world needs is love.
Hi there again. I have just a few announcements to go over. So, you're looking for something for the new year to start your year off right. Come and register for our certificated classes. We have Foundations class, Essential Earnest, and Exploring Roots. So I would sign up for those, and it's a great way to get connected in the center and get to understand what we believe, and you get to meet all kinds of new people, and it's great. We also have Awaken Thursdays, which is on Thursday night with Reverend David, and it's Waking Up to Wisdom and Stillness, and that starts at 7 o'clock, and you have an hour meditation, dialogue, and a reading, and then something to eat. Also, on December 27th, the Women's Connection will have their event, Eat, Play, Love. And I think you can see Grania for any information on that, right? Okay. Also, save the date, tamale making class. Oh my gosh, is that fabulous? Okay, on Sunday, January 5th and Monday, January 6th, contact Julia Smith. I love tamales. Yeah, there she is right there. My mother and I are going to take it, aren't we? Yeah. Now, the big event coming up, of course, is our Christmas Eve candlelighting service. It starts here at 7 p.m. So get here early, because all those people that David was talking about, they'll have to sit in the overflow. Hospitality. Oh, Lucy. Bad girl, bad girl. But there will be, you know, the wonderful candle lighting service where you get to light your candle, and the choir will be here singing, and we'll have carols and all that stuff. So you just go out and party, and then come here early and get your seat, yeah, and then you can go out and party again. How fun is that? And if you ordered the Tolle book, Silence Speaks, the books are in. So go to the bookstore after service. Also, if there's something heavy on your heart, or you just want to say thank you, please pray with our practitioners underneath the window. And I know that there's going to be a special visitor today. He's got a red suit on, and I think he'll be coming down the aisle here in a minute. And then after service, all the kids will come in here and they can talk. Oh, there he is! There he is! Yay!
So Santa's very busy this time of year. He's going to quickly say hello to the children. When we're done with this room, he's going to come back in here. And so if you and or your children and or your imaginary children would like to have your pictures taken with him, then, well, we're an inclusive community. Please feel free to do that. And that's, I understand it's a gift to you from the center. I have two more things before we, no, one more thing before we close. Oh yes, two more. Max Overland is going to facilitate live streaming on Christmas Eve at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So if you'd like to live stream, Max's request is that you have an unlit candle and a source of flame available, so that when the congregation moves forward to light candles in this room, you can join everyone in this room at the same time. Thank you, Max Overland, for making that happen. I now need to acknowledge 3 transitions, life transitions, and I'm going to call 3 people out by name. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until all 3 have been announced. Deal? Okay, 1, Linda Joy McKay. Linda, are you?
She's with the kids.
Okay, well, Linda's not in the room. Linda has been serving as our Youth and Family Ministries coordinator for a few months while between Reverend Valerie's resignation and the selection of a new Youth and Family Ministries director. So next Sunday will be Linda's last Sunday as the coordinator, because the following week our new Youth and Family Ministries director will take over. So we're going to pretend that Linda is standing here in the room. Secondly, today is Reverend Darlene Dunning's last Sunday here at the center. Reverend Darlene Dunning is her contract with us for operations has ended, but Reverend Darlene is I'm holding that she's looking for a senior position so that she might lead her own congregation and we can be her mentors and her partners while she brings about healthy community in another location. And thirdly, I'd like to introduce you to our new Youth and Family Ministries Director, Reverend Tony Cormier. And would you all please stand and take the hand of the person on your right and on your left? And won't you know with me that you and I are never alone, but God is where we are right now and always. And the only thing that we will ever need to do is look inside, because it's there, really. We will find that we are guided and sustained and directed and inspired by this God that knows only good. So joyously, let us make use of these gifts in all that we think and say and do, and so it is. And as is our custom, won't you please repeat after me? I am at home in the heart of God.
I am at home in the heart of God.
My life is anchored in truth.
My life is anchored in truth.
I can never be separate.
I can never be separate.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I release all fear.
I release all fear.
I am living love.
I am living love.
And so it is.
So it is.